Slowed by exhaustion, we reached the flat, snowy plateau above Misery Hill, where the summit came into view. Encouraged, I renewed my effort, knowing I could reach the high point a quarter mile beyond. At noon, we stood on the summit in a light, chilling breeze. A sweeping view spread before us, reinforcing my desire to peak climb. I knew most people have never, will never experience those views, and I wanted to appreciate being alive and wondered if my adventure heroes had experienced those same feelings despite their challenges. I could only assume they had, of course, but Primate couldn't appreciate the success or glory of adventure. He existed mostly in the moment, and those moments were usually filled with anxiety. No sooner than Kevin, Elliott, and I had completed our rounds of self-congratulations, Elliott produced a joint, and with his long auburn hair ruffling said, "Want to smoke?" The answer to Elliott's question turned out to be a no-brainer. Both Kevin and I assisted him in consuming his contraband. That joint dispatched, we started our descent with me in the lead. I'd intended to retrace my steps to the plateau below, however, focused only on the next step in front of me, and as the slope had suddenly steepened, I found myself facing fresh air, aka a considerable drop instead. My legs tightened. I got weak-kneed. "Oh shit," Primate screamed. "Looks dangerous," Elliott said from behind me, deadpan and matter-of-fact. "Good observation, Sherlock." Stunned, I hadn't encountered exposure of that sort during the darkened cave explorations of my teen years. At that moment, however, I faced the inescapable fact that a misstep could lead to disaster. I could end up halfway down the mountain and on the wrong side, if being on the wrong side would matter one iota. I screwed up, Primate. "Yeah, let's go back," Kevin said. "You think, Kevin?" I blamed my blunder on a generous helping of dope. "Stay cool, Primate." I grabbed a solid handhold to steady myself as I pivoted, and before Primate went berserk. Using both hands, I scrambled to a safer position, then followed Kevin and Elliott off the summit mound. Water vapor hissed from several nearby fumaroles, and the unmistakable smell of sulfur permeated the air on the plateau nearest the summit cone. In a wind shadow and warmer, Elliott suggested, "Let's take a nap." Kevin was game. My lizard brain activated by ganja, which also helped quiet Primate, and my limbs turned leaden from the day's exertion, I replied, "Good for me." I awakened with a jerk. A quick check summed it all up. The sun near the horizon, I knew we'd lounged away the afternoon at 14,000 feet. Not planning for another night on the mountain, we'd left our sleeping gear at Helen Lake. We faced recrossing Avalanche Gulch on a 6,000-foot descent to Horse Camp, followed by a 2-mile hike to Kevin's pickup, then an hour and a half drive home. "Wake up, guys," I yelled. "We need to get off this mountain." Pronto, we crossed a plateau snowfield at nearly a full run and rushed down Misery Hill with plunge steps. Long strides, sometimes overextended, like fleas abandoning a dog on fire. Our footfalls sloshing through soft snow or crunching pumice filled the silence, only interrupted by our sparse words of encouragement and sense of urgency. Kevin and Elliott easily outpaced me. Primate nagged me along with, "Don't get left behind." "Don't worry, we won't. But we'll be in a fine mess if we break our neck or ankle, fella." Below the red banks, we opted for our ascent route, a snow tongue adjacent to the heart, and to speed ourselves along, we simply sat in the snow and slid down slope. Elliott, in the lead, created a rut in the soft snow. Kevin widened and deepened the channel, and I followed in their butt rut. Shades of crimson filled the sky as we reached Helen Lake, where we paused to collect our remaining gear. I downed a slug of water from my remaining supply. The flat, hand-laden stones of Olbermann's Causeway merely created the illusion of safety and easy passage. I increased my vigilance, lest I step and suffer a face plant, or worse, on the unevenly spaced, man-made walkway. The moonlight allowed us to plan our moves a few steps ahead as we hurried along. We passed Horse Camp at deliberate speed on our forced march to the parking lot at Bunny Flat Trailhead. Thankful Kevin Struck awaited our return, I counted myself among all those who had struck out to explore, focused on an objective and succeeded, much like my childhood heroes had done. Though I didn't appreciate nor recognize the depth of my mountain experience at the time, Shasta had implanted a hook in me.